Have you ever been so excited about something that you forgot to notice the warning signs? I was rushing to see my grandkids for Thanksgiving when my phone wouldn't stop ringing. The words I heard made me pull over and cry. What I did next shocked everyone and taught my family a lesson they'll never forget. Keep watching because this story has a surprise ending. Thanksgiving was always my favorite holiday. I loved the smell of fresh bread baking and watching my family smile when they ate my cooking. This year, I packed my car with so much food that I could barely see out the back window. Boxes of cookies, bags of vegetables, and 3 frozen pies filled every space. My grandbabies called me 2 days before and said, "Grandma, please bring your special cookies." Their little voices made my heart feel warm. I promised them I would bring enough cookies for everyone to have seconds. I woke up super early that morning while it was still dark outside. The stars were still shining when I started loading my old blue car. My neighbor Mrs. Patterson waved at me from her window. She always wakes up early to feed the birds in her yard. I gave her a big smile and a wave back. The road was empty and quiet at first. I turned on my radio and sang along to the old songs I remembered from when I was young. Everything felt perfect and magical, just like Thanksgiving should feel. The sun started coming up and painted the sky with pink and orange colors. I thought about how lucky I was to have a family who wanted me to visit. Some older people spend holidays all alone with nobody to hug them. Not me, though. My son James and his wife Rachel always invited me to their house. Or at least, that's what I believed was true. About an hour into my drive, my phone started making noise. Ring, 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 over and over again. I figured it was probably James calling to ask what time I would arrive. I pressed the button to answer while keeping my eyes on the road ahead. "Hello, sweetie," I said in my happiest voice. "Where are you?" "We're all waiting and getting frustrated," Rachel said. Her voice sounded mean and impatient. That surprised me because Rachel usually talked to me nicely. "I'm on my way, dear. The drive takes 3 hours, remember?" I tried to sound cheerful even though I felt confused. "Well, hurry up. Nobody wants to wait around all day for you," she snapped at me. Then she hung up before I could say anything else. My smile disappeared from my face. I felt a tight feeling in my chest like someone was squeezing my heart. Why would Rachel talk to me like that? Did I do something wrong? I kept driving, but I didn't feel happy anymore. My phone rang again 15 minutes later. This time it was James calling me. "Mom, everyone is sitting here starving. When will you get here?" he asked. His voice sounded annoyed with me. "James, honey, I left at 6 in the morning. I'm driving as fast as I safely can," I explained to him. "The kids are crying because they're so hungry. Can't you drive any faster?" he complained. That didn't make any sense to me. Why would children be crying from hunger at 8 in the morning? Don't they eat breakfast at their own house? I started feeling worried and upset. This wasn't how Thanksgiving was supposed to feel. My phone kept ringing and ringing after that. Rachel called me 3 more times in the next 20 minutes. Each time she sounded angrier than before. "Are you lost? Do you need us to send someone to find you?" she asked in a mean tone. "No, I know exactly where I'm going. I've driven this road 100 times, I told her. "Then why is it taking so long?" "Everyone here thinks you're being selfish," Rachel said. Those words felt like a punch in my stomach. Selfish? Me. I was the one who spent 2 whole days cooking food for everyone. I was the one driving 3 hours to see them. How could anyone think I was being selfish? I started crying a little bit, but I wiped my tears away quickly. The road was getting blurry because my eyes were wet. I had to pull over to the side of the road to calm down. My hands were shaking on the steering wheel. I felt so sad and confused about why my family was being mean to me. I looked at all the food in my car and wondered if they even cared that I worked so hard. Did they appreciate anything I did for them? Or did they just see me as someone who was supposed to serve them? A big truck drove past me really fast and made my car shake. I watched it disappear down the road and thought about my choices. I could keep driving to James's house and pretend everything was fine. Or I could do something different for once in my life. My phone rang again and I looked at the screen. It was Rachel calling me for the 6th time. My finger hovered over the answer button, but I didn't press it. Instead, I just sat there and let it ring until it stopped. A new voicemail appeared on my phone. I pressed play and listened to Rachel's message. "Listen here, old hag, if you're going to take all day then just don't bother showing up. We don't need you anyway." My mouth dropped open in shock. Did she really just call me an old hag? I played the message again to make sure I heard it correctly. Yep, she definitely said those exact words. Old hag. Nobody had ever called me such a terrible name before in my entire life. I felt angry and hurt and shocked all at the same time. Tears rolled down my cheeks, and I didn't even try to stop them anymore. I thought about my late husband George, and how he would have reacted to this. He always told me I was too nice to people and let them treat me badly. "Sweetie, you've got to stand up for yourself," he used to say to me. Maybe George was right all along. Maybe I had been letting my family treat me like I didn't matter. I looked at the road ahead of me and then looked in my rearview mirror at the road behind me. A crazy idea popped into my head. What if I just turned around and went home? What if I spent Thanksgiving by myself for the first time ever? The thought scared me, but it also felt exciting in a strange way. I had spent every single Thanksgiving for the past 30 years cooking for other people and cleaning up their messes. What would happen if I just took care of myself for once? Would the world end? Would my family never forgive me? Or would they finally understand how much I did for them? I sat in my car for 10 whole minutes thinking about what to do. Cars kept zooming past me on the highway while I tried to make up my mind. Finally, I made a decision that surprised even me. I started my car, checked my mirrors, and did something I had never done before. I turned my car around and started driving back home. My heart was beating so fast I could hear it in my ears. Part of me felt guilty and worried about disappointing everyone. But another part of me felt free and brave and strong. I was 72 years old, and I was finally standing up for myself. As I drove home, my phone kept ringing and ringing. I turned the sound off so I wouldn't have to hear it anymore. I knew there would be dozens of messages waiting for me, but I didn't care right now. For the first time in years, I was doing something just for me. The drive home felt faster than the drive there had been. Maybe that's because I wasn't stressed and worried anymore. I actually started singing again to the songs on the radio. When I pulled into my driveway, I felt relief wash over me like a warm blanket. My little house looked so cozy and welcoming with its red front door and flower boxes in the windows. I grabbed some of the food from my car and carried it inside. My cat Whiskers came running to greet me with her tail up in the air. She rubbed against my legs and purred loudly like she was saying, "Welcome home." I bent down and scratched behind her ears the way she likes. "Well, Whiskers, it's just you and me for Thanksgiving this year," I told her. She meowed at me like she understood exactly what I was saying. I decided right then that I was going to have the best Thanksgiving ever even if I was alone. I put on my favorite apron with sunflowers on it and started preparing food. But this time I only made enough for one person plus some leftovers for Whiskers. I made a small chicken instead of a giant turkey. I cooked my favorite vegetables with butter and garlic. I even baked fresh rolls that made the whole house smell amazing. While the food cooked, I set my dining room table with my fancy plates that I usually save for special guests. I used cloth napkins and my good silverware, and even lit 2 candles in the middle of the table. If I was going to eat alone, I was going to do it in style. I poured myself a glass of my special grape juice that I only drink on holidays. The food was ready at noon, and it looked beautiful on my pretty plates. I sat down at my table all by myself and looked at the wonderful meal I had made. For the first time all day, I smiled a real genuine smile. Before I started eating, I said a prayer of thanks just like I always do. But this time my prayer was different than usual. I thanked God for giving me the courage to stand up for myself. I thanked Him for my cozy house and my sweet cat. I thanked Him for showing me that it's okay to put myself first sometimes. Then I started eating and oh my goodness, the food tasted incredible. Maybe it tasted extra good because I wasn't stressed or because I made it just how I liked it without worrying about anyone else's preferences. Every bite felt special, and I ate slowly to enjoy each flavor. After dinner, I washed my dishes while humming a happy tune. Then I changed into my softest pajamas, even though it was only 2 in the afternoon. I made myself a cup of hot chocolate with extra marshmallows and settled onto my couch with a warm blanket. Whiskers jumped up and curled into a ball on my lap. I turned on my favorite old movies and just relaxed. No stress, no cleaning up after other people, no listening to complaints about the food. Just peace and quiet and contentment. I must have fallen asleep on the couch because when I woke up it was getting dark outside. I stretched my arms and yawned big. Whiskers was still sleeping on my lap and purring softly. I felt more rested than I had in months. That's when I finally decided to check my phone. I had 47 missed calls and 32 text messages. Wow! I started reading through the messages, and they told quite a story. The first messages from Rachel were angry and demanding. "Where are you? Get here now. We're all starving." But then the tone started to change around lunchtime. The messages from James said things like, "Mom, are you okay? Please call us back." Then Rachel sent a message that said, "I'm sorry for what I said earlier. Please answer your phone." By dinner time, the messages sounded worried and apologetic. "Mom, we're really concerned about you. Please let us know you're safe," James texted. Rachel sent a message that said, "I feel terrible about the way I spoke to you. I was wrong." The kids even sent messages through James's phone. "Grandma, we miss you. Please come over," they wrote. I sat there reading all these messages and feeling lots of different emotions. Part of me felt satisfied that they finally realized how they had treated me. But part of me also felt sad that it took me disappearing for them to appreciate me. I decided not to respond to any messages that night. I needed more time to think about what I wanted to say. Instead, I made myself some popcorn and watched another movie. I went to bed early and slept better than I had in years. The next morning I woke up feeling refreshed and strong. I made myself a nice breakfast with eggs and toast and fresh orange juice. While I was eating, my phone rang again. This time I answered it. "Hello," I said calmly. "Mom." "Oh, thank goodness you're okay. We've been so worried about you," James said. His voice sounded genuinely concerned and upset. "I'm perfectly fine. I'm at home," I told him simply. "But what happened? Why didn't you come yesterday? Why didn't you answer our calls?" He asked me all these questions at once. I took a deep breath before answering. "James, honey, I need to tell you something important. Rachel called me an old hag yesterday. She was rude and impatient every time she called. You complained that I was making everyone wait, even though I was driving as fast as I could. Nobody seemed happy that I was coming. Nobody seemed grateful for all the food I prepared. So I decided to turn around and spend Thanksgiving by myself." There was silence on the other end of the phone for a long moment. Then I heard James take a shaky breath like he might cry. "Mom, I had no idea Rachel said that to you. That's completely unacceptable and I'm so sorry," he said quietly. "I'm sorry too for being impatient with you. You're right, we were acting entitled and ungrateful. I'm glad you understand now," I replied gently. "I love you and the kids very much. But I can't let people treat me badly anymore, even if they're family." "You're absolutely right, Mom. Can Rachel and I come over today to apologize in person? The kids really want to see you too," James asked hopefully. I thought about it for a minute before answering. "Yes, you can come over. But I'm not cooking a big meal. We'll have leftovers from what I made for myself yesterday," I told him firmly. "That sounds perfect. We'll be there in an hour," James said. True to his word, James showed up at my door exactly 1 hour later with Rachel and the kids. The kids ran up and hugged my legs tight. "Grandma, we missed you so much," they said. I hugged them back and felt my heart melt a little. Rachel walked up to me with tears in her eyes. "I am so deeply sorry for the horrible things I said to you. There's no excuse for calling you names or being disrespectful. I was stressed about hosting and I took it out on you. Can you ever forgive me?" she asked. I could tell she really meant it. "I forgive you, Rachel. But things need to change going forward. I won't be treated like a servant anymore," I said clearly. "You're right, and I promise things will be different. You're not our servant, you're our beloved mother and grandmother," Rachel said as she hugged me carefully. James stepped forward too. "Mom, we had Thanksgiving without you yesterday, and it was awful. We ordered pizza because none of us knew how to cook the meal. The kids were disappointed and we all felt terrible. We realized how much work you do and how much we take you for granted," he admitted. "I'm glad you learned that lesson," I said with a small smile. We all went inside, and I reheated the leftover food for everyone. We sat around my little table, squished together but happy. The kids told me about their week at school. James and Rachel asked me about my hobbies and what I'd been reading lately. It was the first time in years that we had a conversation where they actually listened to me and treated me like a person instead of just a grandmother who cooks. After we ate, Rachel insisted on washing all the dishes while James dried them and put them away. The kids helped me feed Whiskers and played with her gently. Nobody asked me to do any work at all. Before they left, James pulled me aside. "Mom, Rachel and I talked last night about how we've been treating you. We want to make it right. From now on, we're going to rotate holidays. Sometimes you cook, sometimes we cook, and sometimes we all cook together. And we're going to help you instead of expecting you to do everything. Does that sound fair?" he asked. "That sounds wonderful," I agreed happily. Rachel joined us and added, "And I want you to know that you're always welcome at our house, but you never have to come if you don't want to. No more pressure or guilt trips." The kids gave me one more big hug before they left. "Grandma, next time can we help you make cookies?" my youngest grandchild asked sweetly. "Of course you can, sweetie. That would be so much fun, I told her. After they left, I sat on my couch and thought about everything that had happened. Standing up for myself had been scary at first. I worried that my family would be angry with me forever. But instead, they learned an important lesson about respect and gratitude. Sometimes when you love people, you have to teach them how to treat you properly. You can't just accept bad behavior and hope it will get better on its own. Over the next few weeks, I noticed real changes in how my family treated me. James called me regularly just to chat and see how I was doing. Rachel sent me a beautiful card in the mail thanking me for being a wonderful grandmother. The kids drew pictures for me and mailed them to my house. When Christmas came around, James and Rachel invited me over, but insisted that I didn't need to bring anything. "We're cooking this year, Mom. You just show up and enjoy yourself," James told me. I arrived at their house on Christmas Day with just a plate of cookies that the kids and I had made together earlier that week. Rachel had prepared a lovely meal, and the house looked beautiful with decorations everywhere. For the first time in years, I sat in a comfortable chair while other people served me food. It felt strange at first, but also really nice. During dinner, James stood up and clinked his glass to get everyone's attention. "I want to make a toast to Mom. We didn't appreciate her enough before, but we do now. Thank you, Mom, for everything you do and for teaching us an important lesson about respect," he said. Everyone raised their glasses and said, "To Grandma." I felt tears of happiness in my eyes. After dinner, we all played games together and laughed until our bellies hurt. The kids showed me the new tricks they taught Whiskers when they came to visit me at my house. Rachel and I looked at old photo albums and talked about family memories. It was perfect. As the months went by, my relationship with my family got stronger and better. They included me in decisions and asked for my opinions. They respected my time and never made last-minute demands. Most importantly, they showed me through their actions that they valued me as a person, not just for what I could do for them. I learned something important through all of this. You teach people how to treat you by what you accept from them. For years, I had accepted being treated poorly because I didn't want to cause problems or seem difficult. But by accepting that treatment, I was actually teaching my family that it was okay to treat me that way. When I finally stood up for myself, everything changed. It wasn't easy and it was scary at first. But it was worth it. Now I have the loving, respectful relationship with my family that I always wanted. And it all started because I turned my car around on Thanksgiving Day. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is say no. Sometimes the strongest thing you can do is walk away from a situation that isn't healthy. And sometimes the most loving thing you can do is teach people how to treat you better. I'm sharing this story because I know there are other people out there who feel taken for granted by their families. Maybe you're the one who always hosts holidays, or always brings the food, or always cleans up the mess. Maybe people expect things from you without saying thank you. Maybe they talk to you rudely or don't respect your time. If that sounds familiar, I want you to know that you deserve better. You deserve to be treated with kindness and respect. You deserve to have people appreciate what you do for them. And you have the power to change how people treat you. It might mean having an uncomfortable conversation. It might mean setting boundaries that feel scary at first. It might even mean walking away temporarily like I did. But I promise you it's worth it. When I was driving home on Thanksgiving Day, I felt guilty and worried. I wondered if I was being selfish or if I was overreacting. But deep down, I knew I was doing the right thing. I was standing up for myself and showing my family that I wouldn't accept disrespectful treatment anymore. Looking back now, I'm proud of myself for having that courage. I'm grateful that my family learned from the experience and changed their behavior. Not every story has a happy ending like mine did. Sometimes when you stand up for yourself, people get angry or refuse to change. If that happens to you, just know that you still did the right thing. You can't control how other people react, but you can control how you allow yourself to be treated. My advice to anyone dealing with a similar situation is simple. Know your worth. Don't be afraid to speak up when someone treats you badly. Set clear boundaries about what you will and won't accept. And if necessary, be willing to walk away from situations or relationships that aren't healthy for you. You might feel guilty at first because that's a normal reaction, especially if you're used to putting everyone else's needs before your own. But remember that taking care of yourself isn't selfish. It's necessary. You can't pour from an empty cup. You can't take care of others if you're not taking care of yourself first. Thanksgiving last year taught me that lesson in a powerful way. It taught my family that lesson too. And I hope that by sharing my story, maybe it can teach that lesson to some of you as well. Life is too short to spend it feeling underappreciated and disrespected. Life is too precious to waste on relationships where you're always giving and never receiving. You deserve to be treated well by the people who love you. And if they're not treating you well, it's okay to speak up about it. It's okay to demand better. It's okay to walk away if necessary. I'll never forget that Thanksgiving Day when I turned my car around. It was a turning point in my life. It was the day I finally put myself first and stopped letting people treat me badly. It was scary and uncomfortable, but it changed everything for the better. My family respects me now in a way they never did before. They appreciate the things I do for them instead of expecting them. They treat me with kindness and consideration. And our relationships are stronger and healthier than ever before. All of this happened because I had the courage to turn that car around. So if you're in a situation where you feel taken for granted, underappreciated, or disrespected, I encourage you to find your own way of turning the car around. It doesn't have to be as dramatic as mine was. Maybe for you it means having a calm conversation where you express how you feel. Maybe it means saying no the next time someone makes an unreasonable request. Maybe it means taking a step back from certain relationships until people start treating you better. Whatever form it takes for you, I hope you'll find the courage to stand up for yourself. Because you matter. Your feelings matter. Your time and energy matter. And you deserve to be treated in a way that reflects that. Thank you for listening to my story. I hope it resonated with some of you and maybe even inspired you to make changes in your own lives. Remember that it's never too late to start standing up for yourself. It's never too late to demand the respect you deserve. And it's never too late to turn the car around. If my story helped you or made you think about your own relationships, I'd love to hear about it in the comments below. Share your own experiences with standing up for yourself. Tell me about times when you had to set boundaries with family members. Let's support each other and remind each other that we all deserve to be treated well. And hey, if you enjoyed this story and want to hear more real talk about family, relationships, and life lessons, make sure you hit that subscribe button for Jamal's Revenge. I share stories from my life and the lives of others who've learned important lessons the hard way. We talk about the real stuff that happens in families, the good and the bad, and how to navigate it all with grace and dignity. Life's too short to let people walk all over you. Life's too precious to spend it feeling unappreciated. So stand up tall, know your worth, and don't be afraid to turn that car around when necessary. Your future self will thank you for it. Until next time, remember that you are valuable, you are important, and you deserve respect. Happy holidays, everyone, and may your tables be filled with love, gratitude, and people who truly appreciate you. Take care. Jamal's Revenge.